Okay, so we're going to get started now. All right, so I guess, all right, we're going to get started now. So let's begin. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Is my audio work? Can you guys hear me? Because DPRK.
Motion to reopen debate.
Apologies. Can you wait 1 second? I'm going to change my headphones. Something's not right. Okay. Hello? DPRK.
Motion to reopen debate.
That is in order. All those in favor, please raise your hands. This motion passes. Okay, I'm going to lower all hands. Now, are there any points of motion on the floor?
Yo, Abhinav, wait like a few seconds. I think we're missing a few people.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hey, Abhinav and friends, if we could do a roll call before starting procedural.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen then. So, all right, we're going to be doing roll call now. When I call your name, please answer as present or present in voting. Azerbaijan.
Present.
Present. No, excuse me. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso.
Wait, only use the list we had before. I don't think anyone new joined.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just using the points first. Okay.
Present.
Thank you. Canada.
Present.
Thank you. Central African Republic. Central African Republic. Okay, they're not here. Apologies, my computer's a little slow. Be patient. Okay, China. China.
Present.
Thank you. Croatia. Croatia. Not here. Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Present.
Thank you. DPRK,
Present.
thank you. Federated States of Micronesia,
Present.
thank you. Guatemala,
Present.
thank you. India,
Present.
thank you. Oh my god, I hate this stupid computer. Okay. Kazakhstan,
Present.
thank you. Moldova,
Present.
thank you. Swaziland,
Present.
thank you. Thailand, Thailand, thank you.
Present.
Okay, 1 second. The Gambia, Gambia is not here. The Holy See,
Oh, sorry. Present.
Gambia is present, thank you.
Oh, present.
Holy See is present,
Yes.
thank you. Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan, okay. Uzbekistan is not here at the moment.
Sorry. Just letting you know that you went. Never mind. Wait.
Uzbek, yeah, well, when it's your roll call, I'll let you know. You can go ahead. Austria, Austria,
Present and voting.
thank you. Belize,
Present and voting.
present and voting, thank you. Brazil,
Present.
okay. Iran,
Present and voting.
thank you. 1 second. Iraq,
Present and voting.
thank you. Japan, Japan, Japan is not present. Morocco,
Present and voting.
thank you. Pakistan,
Present and voting.
thank you. Saudi Arabia,
Present and voting.
thank you. United States,
Present and voting.
thank you. Argentina, Argentina. Oh, not here. Okay, the rest of the delegates have not shown up, but I will go through them anyway just to make sure. Actually, never mind. Okay. For
But just
now,
a heads up that Uzbekistan is listening via Brazil, but I think if Brazil raises hand, it might be Brazil or Uzbekistan.
thank you. We'll keep that in mind. Okay, I'll share my screen now and then we can get started. Okay. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? Iran?
Motion for a 10-minute unmoderated conference.
I'm going to rule that dilatory. I want to get some, maybe one mod, and then we'll go into an unmod. Thank you. Are there any other points or motions on the floor? United States?
Motion for a moderated caucus about so a 6-minute 30-second moderated caucus about discussing the purpose of the United Nations.
Can you be more specific on that?
No, I mean discussing the purpose of the United Nations, like in respect to Uyghurs, like UN role in the Uyghur crisis.
Any other points or motions? Iran?
6:45 on the importance of security in Xinjiang.
Okay. Any other points or motions? I'll take one more. Okay, guess that's going to be it for us. We'll go by order received. We'll start with the United States' motion for a 6:30 on the UN role in the Uyghur crisis. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That's 11 in favor. All those opposed? Let me lower hands first, then we'll go opposed. All those opposed? (11, 12). I don't think everybody has voted. So we're gonna have to revote this. Give me 1 second and make sure. Okay, not everybody has voted, so I'm gonna revote this. All those in favor of the U.S.'s motion for 6:30 on the UN role in the Uyghur crisis, please raise your hand. And I apologize if there's any background noise coming from me. There we go. Okay, that's 14 in favor.
13. Oh, okay.
13? Yeah.
I got 13.
All those opposed, please raise your hands. (12). I'd say this motion passes because I believe we lost some members in the intermission. So this motion passes. Actually, before we speak on this moderated caucus, can you first take a quick head count on the amount of delegates we currently have? Frank.
I believe it's 26 with Uzbekistan calling in via Brazil A.
26. Thank you. So we will change this. I believe the quorum is now 8. Majority is still 14. Sponsor captains. Okay, signatories are the same. So majority is now 14. All right. United States, let's do it first or last. United States?
I would like to go first.
First. Okay, give me a second to change the speaking time on this. Okay, USA, whenever you're ready, you have the floor.
Let us remember what is the purpose of the UN. The UN was established after World War II in order to stop genocides like this. National sovereignty was not the priority of the UN. It was not the priority of the UN at all. The whole point of it was to prevent the persecution of races. Now, you cannot do that. You cannot prevent something happening in a country while accepting so much national sovereignty. We must act with morality instead of just complying with the Chinese persecution of
Thank you, Delegate. Just to remind, again, so I know there's some confusion on this topic. So this topic is what the UN's role is and what the UN can do with respect to the Uyghur crisis. So this is just a discussion on what this body can do, what its limitations are, and what it feasibly can do. It's not a question of morals, just so you guys know. Okay, next speaker, please raise your hand. Austria. Whenever you're ready.
Delegates, regarding the role UN in this crisis, we see that there is no inherent solution we can put unless we cooperate in the condemnation of China. There is no way a foreign organization, international framework can intervene in a state in any way, and China has prevented any foreign incursions into its state, and the most we can do is to remain neutral on the subject.
Okay, and just one quick a change. A majority is now 13 because majority is 13. All right. Next speaker, please raise your hand. Canada. Whenever you're ready.
The delegation of Canada would like to point out that remaining neutral is akin to allowing all these atrocities to happen, standing back as a bystander without doing the role of the UN as mentioned by USA, which is preventing all these human crises, is akin to letting people be abused and tortured and not doing anything about their death.
Thank you. All right. All those, I'm going to lower all hands now. All those, remember that only raise your hand after I call you to raise your hand. All those want to speak again? Speak next, excuse me. Pakistan. Now everybody lower hands.
Yeah, so going back to what the US said about the UN favoring humanitarian efforts more than national security, well, it was actually created after Second World War to maintain international peace and security and develop friendly relations among nations. So like the UN so like national security has just as much as a role in the UN as does like terrorism and other.
Thank you, delegate. Okay. Anyone wishing to speak next? Iran, you have the floor.
Thank you. Iran would like to remind the General Assembly that China is part of the permanent member of the UN Security Council and does have veto power to veto any measures taken against it that it deems unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. All those wishing to speak? Morocco, give me a second. Go.
So to bring things back to our committee, the UNHCR describes a refugee as someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. A refugee has well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Evidently, this definition applies to the Uyghur population, and the delegation of Morocco recognizes the UNHCR's role as a committee to avoid adding to the already increasing rise in refugees and to protect said refugees. If the UNHCR allows China to displace more Uyghurs, the committee itself is going against its own mission to protect and prevent refugees.
Thank you, delegate. Okay, next speaker, Brazil. Give me 1 second. Oh, you have the floor.
Sorry. The delegation of Brazil would like to add on to the delegation of Pakistan and saying how the UN was also developed to build relations with every country, and how do you build relations without even respecting national sovereignty? And the way to a way to approach this crisis while maintaining national sovereignty would be to stay neutral in this crisis.
Thank you, delegate. Next speaker. Next speaker. Okay, if we don't get a speaker, we will exhaust this moderated caucus and move into speaking in the speakers list. So, does any delegate want to speak? Ideally, we want some of you who haven't spoken yet. There's still a couple of you who have not really participated that much. We really want you to speak. Remember, everybody's learning. It's a novice conference. There's nothing for you to lose by speaking. Okay, so we have exhausted this moderated caucus now. We'll go back up to speakers list. All right, next up on the speakers list is Brazil again.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates.
Sorry, Brazil, could you give me 1 second? I need to change the timer. Thank you. All right, whenever you're ready.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, as we gathered here today, we obviously have like 3 different resolutions going forward. So the first block would be the one from Channel 3, I believe, and that is the one that's taking a strong stance against China and the allegations of the persecution of Uyghur Muslims. And there's Channel 5, whose block is more aggressive in its support of China and supporting its counterterrorism efforts and threats to national security. Now, for in terms of our stance, from Block 6, we are focusing more on the issues of national sovereignty, and we acknowledge that China should be the one to decide how to handle their national security accordingly without outside intervention. However, we are open to exploring an investigation if China consents. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, are there any points or motions on the floor? Iran.
Motion for a 6-minute total, 45-second each, moderated caucus on the importance of security in Xinjiang.
This is, I feel like you've been motioning for the same thing multiple times. Let's go for something different. Would you like to amend that?
Motion for a 10-minute unmoderated caucus.
10-minute unmod. Okay, that's in order. Turkey?
Hey, just testing. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my voice is a bit slurred. Sorry about that. Motion for an 11-minute and 30-second moderated caucus with 10 speakers on the topic of bypassing China's veto power in the Security Committee or Security Council. Sorry.
Oh, would you be amenable to change that to a 10:30? Well, actually, no, and 8:30. I feel it's a little too long.
Well, we do have 1 minute and 9 seconds per speaker.
I'm sorry. What?
What's that?
How much per speaker?
1 minute and 9 seconds.
1 minute and 9 seconds. Come on, okay, let's bring that down to 1 minute. And with 10:1.
Sure.
10:1. Okay. On what was it again? I'm sorry.
Bypassing China's veto on the Security Council.
Thank you. Any other points or motions? Belize?
A motion for a 6:45 on concrete solutions and resolutions.
Okay, so that's it for this. That's it for this one. So, all those in favor. So we'll now be voting on Turkey's motion for a 10:1 on bypassing China's veto power on the Security Council. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your hands. The chair would highly smile on a moderated caucus of some sort. Okay, we have 4 in favor, so lower your hands. All those opposed? Okay, this motion clearly fails. So next we have Iran's motion for I'm going to lower our hands. Now we have Iran's motion for a 10-minute unmod. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
Seven.
That's 7. Okay. All those All those opposed should have about considerable amount opposed. Should have at least 10.
That's 9.
Oh my God, you guys. Okay, that's less than half of this committee voted. We need to do better than this. Okay, I'm gonna revote this. All those in favor of Iran's motion for a 10-minute unmod, please raise your hands. Okay. That's 8 in favor. I should have at least 10 opposed. All those opposed to a 10-minute unmod, please raise your hand. Okay, this motion clearly fails. Now, on the lower hands, our last motion is Belize's 645 on concrete solutions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. This motion clearly passes. Belize, would you like to speak first or last?
I'll speak first.
Speak first. Thank you. Give me 1 second. All right, whenever you're ready, please.
Delegates, it's clear that the overwhelming majority of this committee recognizes the abuses of human rights that China is now conducting. The few people who choose not to recognize this or choose to quote-unquote remain neutral are those that are clearly influenced by China. Therefore, Belize urges the rest of this community to stop spending time debating on whether or not we should act, but start debating how we can best act in order to solve this crisis. Belize would like to propose its 3-pronged solution, complete with World Bank funding as well as a subcommittee, which some of my block members can hopefully explain later. However, Belize just wants to re-emphasize this point. It is time we move our debate not from whether or not these instances of human rights violations are occurring or whether or not China is justified. We need to start debating what we are going to do to stop China from violating human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Anybody else wishing to speak? Please raise your hand. United States. Give me 1 second, please. I'm going to lower all hands now. All right, USA, whenever you're ready. United States.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, was my hand raised?
Yes, it was. Do you not want to speak?
Yeah, I don't want to speak right now.
Okay. I'll be taking another speaker. Austria. 1 second. Austria, whenever you're ready.
Delegates, delegation of Austria would like to alternate our explanation on neutrality. UNHCR cannot intervene directly in the foreign affairs of China, nor in the Xinjiang area. However, we can do specific actions against China. First, a delegation of Austria proposes a complete embargo on all goods from China, all exports from China, in order to force them into complying with moral grounds. Second, the delegation of Austria proposes extreme sanctions against officials in the CP and the Communist Party to ensure that they comply and realize the devastation they're causing. Third, Austria believes to have media leak from the New York Times regarding the issue to make it publicized and for everyone to see the devastation that.
Thank you, Delegate. Thank you,
area.
Delegate.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to lower all hands. Remember, raise your hand once I ask. I'm going to lower again. Why can't I lower? Okay. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Brazil. Whenever you're ready.
The delegation of Brazil remains neutral in this crisis because there's still no concrete information about the way that China is treating these Uyghurs. So the delegation of Brazil believe that we shouldn't start taking extreme measures, but acknowledging the delegation of Belize and many other countries about the fear for possibility of violation of human rights, we are okay with the delegation of Brazil is accepting the idea of possibly having a possibly China setting up like an invitation for other countries to visit.
Thank you, Delegate. I'm going to lower all hands again. Please remember that I have to call on you to raise your hands. All those who wish to speak, please raise your hands. China, whenever you're ready.
The delegation of China would like to add on to what the delegate from Brazil said, that there is no concrete evidence of these inhumane actions taking place, and that these rumors are merely separatist movements from other countries opposed to China and their growing economic presence, that these rumors are not true and are seeking to separate China and the Uyghur population. These embargoes proposed by other countries are unrealistic and will be truly more negative to other countries than it will be to China. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Canada.
The delegation of Canada would like to remind the delegations of Brazil and China that that these are all allegations, perhaps, but if there is truly no infringement of human rights, then China should be allowed to be investigated. If there's actually nothing going on, then why all this privacy and security? If you want to be cleared up with the UN and have these allegations cleared, then allow an investigation. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Morocco.
Adding on to the delegation of Canada, part of the resolution that the delegation of Morocco, the delegation of Canada, the delegation of Belize, and many others are working on is to increase China's transparency with the Uyghur camps to see and confirm the allegations that have been said against them.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak? The Holy See. Whenever you're ready.
This delegation aligns itself with Canada and would like to propose a UN-funded investigation into the activities of China to dispel any rumors about the Uyghur concentration camps. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Thailand has a point of personal privilege. Thailand, go ahead. Thailand? Okay, I guess not. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Iran, you have the floor.
Thank you. Iran would like to remind the delegate from Austria that any sanctions or embargoes on Chinese goods would have to pass through the Security Council, and that would be on the Security Council's discretion and not of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. And since China is a permanent member of the UN Security Council, it have the right to veto anything that it deems unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, delegates. Okay, this exhausts our caucus. Are there any other points of motion on the floor? Frank would like to make a quick statement. Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, just the idea about the veto power, just for the people who don't know, because it says not Security Council, so you're not expected to know what they can do. There are the 5 countries that have veto power. The veto power can be overruled by a 2/3 majority vote. So if the Security Council were to near unanimously vote against China, then they would fall sanction to Security Council. That was the clarification I wanted to make.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So, any points or motions on the floor at this time? At this point, the chair would be fine with both a motion for a unmod and a mod. Morocco?
Motion for a 10-minute unmod to continue resolutions.
That's in order. Any other points or motions? Okay, so I guess we can go with this one. All those in favor of Morocco's motion for a 10-minute unmod, please raise your hands. Yeah, this motion passes. Give me 1 second. Oh, thanks, wrong key. Okay, yeah, this motion passes. We get it. Thank you. All right. All those in favor? Oh, no, sorry. Your 10-minute unmod starts now. Everybody, please join the Zoom again. Your time has elapsed. Please join the Zoom. Your time has elapsed. Your time has elapsed. Please join the Zoom. Okay, I think that's pretty much everybody. Before we go into any more motions and stuff, hang on a sec. US, do you have a point of inquiry or? Oh yeah, so whatever. Before we go into motions and stuff, I just want to get a quick gauge of how we're progressing as a committee. So I don't know where you guys are in your resolution process. You can just raise your hand and tell me. Anybody, just like how far along have you progressed in the committee, in your resolution writing process? Sure, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we have like some operative clause already down, and
yes, okay,
we have quite a few already. I guess probably probably like 3, 4. I don't know how many more on month.
Okay, how much longer do you think you'll need to finish your resolution?
If everybody is working, like probably 3 on mods. I'm not sure, to be safe.
3 on mods. Everybody else, are you guys fine? Do you guys like? Is that how much time? Does anybody need a different time than that, or is everyone comfortable with doing 3 on mods with some mods in between? Does nobody else want to talk about their block? All right, I guess we'll just continue then.
Hold on, before we continue.
Yeah.
Blocks 5 and 6, I was eavesdropping, as you do when you're chair. Are you thinking of merging, or are you going to remain as separate blocks?
We are merging.
Yeah, we merged.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to have 2 blocks. That's what it's going to be like, block 3 and block 5, I think.
Okay, so those are the 2 blocks you've got. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Are there any points or motions on the floor at this time? Points or motions, raise your hand. Thailand, thank you.
10-minute unmod.
Okay, do you guys, I mean, all right, sure. Okay, any other points or motions on the floor? Canada?
A motion to extend to a 15-minute unmod.
Extend the previous one to 15-minute unmod? Okay, so you just want to have like a big, long unmod, get your clauses done. You guys just want to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Morocco?
Wait,
Morocco.
could you repeat that? Sorry.
Points or motions?
Motion for a 10 or 5-minute mod with 1 minute speaking time on highlights of the resolution.
Okay. Turkey?
Motion to move into voting block.
That's dilatory. Thank you. Brazil?
Motion to extend the Morocco's moderated caucus to 8 minutes.
Morocco, is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm guessing there's no other motions at the dais at this time. So we'll now vote most least disruptive. All those in favor of the 15-minute unmod by Thailand and Canada, please raise your hands. Okay, this motion clearly passes. We are now in a 15-minute unmod. Okay, you guys are free to go.
Can we just finish
Time has
Okay,
elapsed, everybody.
delegates.
Your time has elapsed. If you could mention on tell everyone in the Discord, their time has elapsed.
It's a gap here. Whatever.
Delegates, your time has elapsed. Please return to the Zoom.
Oh, I see. Screen. There we
Frank,
go.
you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool, cool, cool.
Alrighty.
Just a reminder to check the Discord for information on how to send your resolutions to us. Yeah, sorry, Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. All right, delegates. It is 2:15. I'm taking over, obviously. I know that Block 5 is ready. It has finished the resolution. What is the status for Block 3? Does anybody want to share?
We're right now finishing our resolution and getting votes, basically.
You're finishing it off? Okay, so you're just
Yeah.
finishing it as in like proofreading it or like adding clauses?
I think we should be nearing. I'm not sure. I think we have one more clause, probably like one or two, probably two more, like 15 minutes or like 10 minutes. I'm not sure.
10 minutes. Okay. And what about the DPRK? Your block.
We should need like the same amount of time as them. Whatever they need, we'll take.
Okay. So you said 10:15. I'm going to change that to 5 to 10. Okay, we will work that into somehow. I think the chair would file on a mod.
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah, and in the meantime, if like the sponsors of those resolutions wanted to work on the resolution, it's inconsiderate, but otherwise we'll have one of the blocks just waiting. So I think that would be acceptable. So in that case, are there any motions on the floor? Okay, there isn't. All right.
Speakers list?
Speakers list. Oh, that's a good idea. We'll do speakers list. You guys can finish your resolutions. And you just talk about the Uyghurs. Uzbekistan. You have 1 minute. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Uzbekistan will be speaking through me. Over here. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you just say when
You're already unmuted.
Okay, great. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, as we have debated a lot today, we have clearly formed two very distinct blocks, one for China and one against China. And clearly, nothing I'm going to say is likely going to convince anybody to really switch sides. However, I would like to point out that there are clauses in the Group 5 resolution that do encourage more openness and transparency between any nations concerned with this issue, as well as China. And this clause mainly will, if supported, will help us increase the communication without directly infringing upon China and directly attacking China for those actions. So this clause will allow some more communication without having all this aggression. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. By parliamentary procedure, are there any motions on the floor? I didn't think so. Pakistan, do you want to talk? You want to speak next? Pakistan. No?
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
yes.
sorry.
It's okay.
Okay,
Whenever you're
wait.
ready.
Yeah. Sorry, it's because like the call was still on and I still heard people talking, so for on Discord, sorry.
On Discord. There's
yeah.
people on Discord.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was just hearing.
Ian?
I think they're all just working on their resolutions on Discord.
Okay. Got it. All right, well, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so yeah. So you guys are probably already aware of Pakistan's stance on the situation. That we support China in protecting their and protecting their citizens and providing national security and for their anti-terrorism efforts. We're already aware, I mean, that everyone else is probably already in Ahmad, but just something to consider, there are known terrorist cells in China, and Uyghur terrorists are known to have links with Al-Qaeda, and that's why we commend China's efforts to improve their national security.
Okay. Thank you. DPRK, you have the floor.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and as well as the delegations of Azerbaijan, the DPRK, and Kazakhstan, have been working on a resolution to systematically dismantle the United Nations. This will solve this Uyghur crisis in China, as both this is a black and white issue where neither side is willing to compromise. This is why with the deconstruction of the United Nations, it would allow both countries who are feel morally obligated to act on this issue to go at their leisure and not be stopped by such bodies like the United Nations Security Council. And for those who feel strongly to keep the status quo or just to stay neutral, to do likewise. This allows all countries the most flexibility and takes away from and removes a wall from countries, all countries being more agreeable and a more peaceful.
Your time is up. Okay. Interesting. Moving on with Morocco. You have the floor.
The delegation of Morocco has noted that many countries have brought up the issue of national sovereignty, and the delegation of Morocco would just like to add that if given the persecution that the Uyghurs are evidently facing, they are very likely to flee China and maintain a refugee status. Therefore, it would then become other countries' issue as well, not just China's, when these Uyghurs became refugees. So it actually does involve all countries.
Okay, thank you. Thailand.
I don't want to speak.
Okay. What is the status on the two resolutions that are still being worked on?
Wait, I think I already talked about mine.
Right, yeah, but it's now been 4 minutes. So you closer or?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get votes right now. And we're fixing there's like this one clause we're trying to fix up right now because it's kind of weird.
All right. And the DPRK, do you even have signatories?
We're working on it.
Okay. I'm not sure if that one's going to be heard today. Abhinav, do you have any ideas of what to do in the meantime? Or just keep adding speakers?
Go for a motion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Are there any motions on the floor? Maybe Austria.
Motion for 15-minute on mod.
Yeah. Okay. And Canada?
Motion for a 5-minute unmod.
Just Austria and Canada, right?
Yeah. Okay. 15 minutes is a bit long. Do you actually need 15 minutes, or do you think you can be done in like 10? Okay.
I'm just being safe right now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And the Leafs had their hand up before.
Yeah, I'd like the motion for a moderated caucus. If
Okay.
you're open to that.
Go for it.
Can I have a 4-1 moderated caucus, unlike discussing what's in the content of resolutions? So just resolutions.
Resolutions. Okay. Cool. We will vote from most disruptive to least, starting with the 15-minute unmod. Aminav, can you either make me the host or lower
My
hands?
apologies.
It's okay.
I will lower hands now, then make you the host. How about that? Okay. Thank you, another host.
Perfect. If you would like to vote for the 15-minute unmod proposed by Austria, please raise your hand now. I count 8, 9. 9, okay. Thank you. And if you're voting against, please raise your hand now. It's like slowly trickling in. Okay, I count 11 for a total of 20 out of 26. Oh my God. Really? I'm gonna do a recount because we are definitely short. If you're going to vote for the 15-minute unmod, can you please raise your hand now? One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, thank you. And if you're Micronesia, are you voting for as well, or?
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. And if you're voting against, can you please raise your hand? Bruh, you guys really can't vote. I'm going to rule as dilatory. Because my thinking thing is that not everyone is voting, and in the time that it took to do all that voting, I feel like we could have done some stuff. Anyways, moving on to Canada's proposed 5-minute unmod. I do kind of expect this one to pass. If you want to vote for, can you please raise your hand now? Okay, and if you're voting against, great, this passes. So we're now moving into a 5-minute unmod. I hope that you can get your resolutions done in these 5 minutes. And then like quickly proofread it and send it into the Limbrook email. You'll find the email written on Discord in the announcements page. And we will get back to you after that. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. This is your chair. We just want to let you know that we want papers to be done by 3 p.m. The paper should be done in half an hour. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is your chair. Just letting you know that paper should be done in half an hour.
All right, guys. The 5-minute mod. The 5-minute unmod has elapsed. I know that Abhinav just said you had 30 minutes, but at the same time, we know that there's a group that's finished, and the other two groups are close to finished. So if you need another 5-minute unmod, then we can do the extension, but then after that, we do expect that the remaining groups will be finished, because it's not great to be sitting around waiting for other groups. So, hold on, first of all, are we back in Zoom or are we still on Discord? I'm going to assume we're back in Zoom. So, do the two groups for Austria and DPRK, do you need a 5-minute extension to the unmod? Austria? Anybody? Anybody from block 3 or 10, I believe it was? Anybody? Okay, so block 3 needs some time. And then DPRK, your block, has it dissolved yet, or are you still pushing to dismantle the UN? Bruh. All right, I'm going to go back to Discord. If you're in Zoom, please don't go back to Discord yet until we are sure that we are going to do a 5-minute unmod. Okay, so if you're currently in the Zoom room, we are going to make that extension, the 5-minute extension, and then after that, we will move into resolution stuff. So we will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, the 5-minute extension to 1 second. The 5-minute extension to the unmoderated caucus has expired. If you still need more time.
Block 3 is sending in the resolution right at this moment, so we are basically ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing while I open up Block 3's resolution. Block 3, just remember, your resolution should be a PDF. Everybody just give us a couple of minutes while we get everything in order. We are almost done.
Is it a PDF? Yeah, we turned it in as a PDF.
I see it. Thank you.
Remember, you're
All committee members, I received 4 working papers. One from Abhinav, one from Asya, and one from Anna, and one from Joshua. Jesus.
The one from Joshua is for block 5.
Yes, who are the other 3?
The one from Morocco.
So who's Abhinav Bob?
I think block 3 sent
yeah,
2 by
that's
accident.
Yeah, that's the one for block 3. It's in
Okay,
the
so
PDF.
they're the same ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so I didn't realize I was muted. Okay, so I'm just going to give us a quick recap of how this is going to work. So first I want us to present resolutions. After we do resolution presentation, I'm going to let you guys do, I'm going to give you guys maybe an unmod for you guys to write up amendments. And just a reminder on the amendment process, if all the sponsors of a resolution agree to the amendment, that's considered a friendly amendment and goes in without a vote. If the sponsors do not support the amendment, then it gets voted on by the entire committee. Okay? So after presentations and after amendments, then we'll move into voting block and start voting on the resolutions. Are there any questions on this? I know voting block is usually the most tricky part of a committee. So if you have a question, raise your hand and then we'll move in. Okay, I guess everyone knows what they're doing. So at this time, I will now be taking motions. The chair would smile upon a motion to present working papers. United States.
Motion to present working papers.
How much time per working paper?
I would give actually like 4 minutes.
I'd say it has to be at least 6 per paper.
6 per paper? Okay, 6. Then I would say yes, like maybe 8 minutes.
8 minutes, and how would you like to split that between presenting and questions?
I would like to split that like 6 for presenting, 2 for questions.
Thank you. Any other points or motions on the floor? I'm gonna lower America US's hand. Saudi Arabia.
Can we amend that to like any remaining time to questions?
Okay. Oh, so it's just like don't structure it, just any remaining time? I'd make that a separate one.
Oh, okay.
Canada?
A motion for 6 minutes for presenting and 3 minutes for questions.
Okay. Did I misspell Canada? No. Okay.
Actually, it's 6 and 3, so 9.
Oh, 9. Okay. Okay. With that, we'll be voting on these most to least disruptive. First, we have Canada's. I'm going to lower all hands before this. Point of inquiry?
Is 6 for presenting and 3 for
6.
questions.
My apologies. Okay. All right. We'll now be voting on Canada's motion to present resolutions with 9 minutes total per working paper, split 6 for presenting and 3 for questions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. We have 11 in favor. Check 12 in favor. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Everybody has to vote. It's a procedural vote. Everybody has to vote. I'm going to revote this. We didn't have enough votes. Remember, it's 13 to pass. 13 to pass. Let's revote. All those in favor of Canada's motion to present working papers, 6 presenting and 3 for questions, raise your hands. That is 10 in favor. All those opposed? There we go. Now that's everyone's voting. Okay. This motion fails. Next, we have the United States. I'm going to lower hands. Next, we have the United States' motion for presenting working papers, 8 minutes total, 6 presenting, 2 questions. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
Point of clarification, even though I'm not a delegate, is that 2 minutes for questions or 2 questions?
2 minutes per question. This motion passes with a significant majority. Okay, we'll be presenting these in order received. So first we have, 1 second.
I got it. So the following papers are the paper from Iran, China, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan, with the signatories being Azerbaijan, DPRK, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Uzbekistan, Brazil, Thailand, Turkey, Guatemala, and Chile. Named United Nations Action on the Uyghur Crisis in China is working paper 1.1. The working paper from Azerbaijan, DPRK, Colombia, and Kazakhstan, with signatories being from China, Federated States of Micronesia, Austria, Belize, USA, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Moldova, Morocco, Canada, and Morocco. Named United Nations Resolution is working paper 1.2. The paper from Canada, the United States, and Austria, with signatories being from Burkina Faso. Go ahead. Burkina Faso, the Holy See, Moldova, Austria, India, Morocco, Federated States of Micronesia, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, United States, Democratic Republic of Congo, Swaziland, Georgia, Kazakhstan, and Belize. Named United Nations Action on Continually Developing Human Rights Situation in Xinjiang with Pertinence to Uyghur Persecution is working paper 1.3.
I'm not going to write the whole thing down. Okay. With that, all the sponsors will be allowed to speak. I'm not going to have a cap on presenters. UN Action. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one. Okay.
During presentations, if you'd like to see a copy of the resolution being presented, you can go to the link that I put in chat, bit.ly/ogmog paper.
All right. With that out of the way, let's see. Block 3, you can, whenever you're ready.
United Nations Action on the Uyghur Crisis in China. Sponsors, Iran, China, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. Signatories, Azerbaijan, DPRK, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Uzbekistan.
Delegate, please summarize. You don't need to read the whole thing word
okay.
for word.
The UN High Commission for Refugees is deeply concerned regarding terrorist attacks and violent riots in the Xinjiang region. Is aware of the importance of Xinjiang geographically on the Belt Road Initiative and the Chinese economy. It takes note of the 1,588 terrorist organizations taken out and the 2,052 explosive device confiscated since 2014, and expresses its appreciation for the 12,524 tons of anti-epidemic material transported from China to EU countries through railroads that passes through Xinjiang.
Emphasizing the 50 nations that are in support of China's actions in Xinjiang, recognizing the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's document that commends the efforts of the People's Republic of China in providing care to its Muslim citizens, having studied the false images of Uyghur persecution spread far and wide on the internet, perpetrated by untrustful news sources, recognizing the other methods of sinicization, such as the establishment of the XPCC and urbanization, have not been very effective in reducing terrorist activities.
We aim to maintain the state of neutrality toward the status of Uyghur Muslims in China, recognizing that there is not substantial evidence to incriminate the Chinese government of wrongdoing, and protecting China's sovereignty until there is concrete evidence, and recognizing the importance of ruling freedom. We also support the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in providing unbiased support to fight against potential injustices, recommending the issue be only brought to international communities, such as the United Nations, if the OIC finds an issue.
So Clause 2 opens dialogue between the Chinese government and the international community on the status of Uyghur Muslims in China through A, formulating transparent reports on the situation of Uyghur Muslims in the region, B, organizing foreign NGOs to visit and investigate education and training centers under the PRC's guide, suggesting that China formulate an independent account of what is happening in Xinjiang, detailing in what actions they are taking toward anti-terrorism and the status of any programs or educational centers, and acknowledging the potential distrust for such reports by Western nations or those against China in this issue. And D, proposing a potential investigation performed by a UN board under conditions agreed upon by China and surrounding nations, working in conjunction with any independent reports made by China. Clause 3 calls upon the international community to assist China in de-radicalization and anti-terrorism precautions inside and in regions around Xinjiang. A, by establishing volunteer programs with an international grant to bridge the cultural gap and clear misunderstandings between Western nations and China. And B, establishing schools in Xinjiang to increase living conditions of natives and discourage Uyghurs from joining radical Islamic movements, and recognizing that education is the most effective measure to combat terrorism.
Thank you, delegates. Just a reminder, this resolution was pretty short, so it's not a problem that the delegates were reading the resolution, but if you have a really long resolution, try to summarize each clause. Yeah. We will now be taking questions, so please raise your hand, and you can ask a question to the sponsors. I'm going to lower all hands right now. And just remember, no follow-up questions. Okay, trying to ask a question, raise your hand. Austria.
Could you acknowledge, I think in clause, wait, could you scroll up? Yeah, sorry about that.
Which clause?
I think it's like, wait. Yeah, here. One part, I think in clause 1 or 2, I'm not sure. They said from the resolution reads that there are false allegations against these human rights violations, and those are just false complaints. How can you acknowledge that in 2018, 47 Chinese intellectuals and government officials released an appeal, quote, shocking human rights atrocities perpetrated in Xinjiang.
I can answer that question. There are some people in China who are just trying to gain attention for what they're doing. Recently, there had been a Chinese national who went to Australia claiming to be a Chinese spy, later found that he was just a regular person with no connection to the government whatsoever, trying to gain attention, fame, and wealth through this public stunt. Thank you.
Canada.
I would like, the delegation of Canada would like to ask what the pertinence of the XPCC is in the preamble, and also for the preamble takes note of the 1,500 terrorist organizations. Does that pertain just to China?
Yes, that was from Xinjiang ever since 2014. And the XPCC is the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corps, established after China took back Xinjiang, and it's used to be able to modernize and urbanize Xinjiang.
Okay, this exhausts our time for questions. The next resolution we'll be going over is, what is that again? It is the UN on United Nations resolution. This will be an interesting resolution. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this block has certain visual aids I'd like us to present as well.
Unfortunately, upper management has told us we're not allowed to present the visual aids, so
okay,
we'll do that.
Wise decision. Okay, this block, whenever you're ready, you're free to present.
Yeah, give me 3 seconds. Someone.
Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, some of our delegates are having connection issues.
Okay, delegate, if you mind, you could just present yourself, if that's not a problem.
Sure.
Or would you like us to go to the next block?
No, we'll present. It's fine.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So we first recognize that the worldwide reaction to the treatment of Uyghur Muslims within China has been like overblown, and we understand that there can never be a middle ground between both sides. Therefore, we propose to dissolve the United Nations. This relieves all countries of the stresses that the UN puts on it, and allows this situation to be resolved through country-to-country diplomacy rather than through a large organization like the United Nations, which is currently extremely divided especially in actual decision-making bodies like the United Nations Security Council, where China and the United States have staunchly taken opposing sides, leading to no real action, leading to the inability for the United Nations to act on this issue, whether or not it is a legitimate issue. That is a separate debate, and this is why dissolving the UN would help different countries follow their own convictions rather than a large body's opinion. And this would allow country-to-country diplomacy, again, rather than through a large organization like the United Nations, which has been shown in this situation to be staunchly divided and staunchly partisan. Questions?
Okay, thank you, delegate. Yes, we'll be 1 second. Okay, Canada. I'm sorry, did Canada have a question?
The delegation of Canada would like to ask, when mentioned that the United Nations should be dissolved, does it mean dissolved just for this problem, or dissolved permanently overall, as in there is going to be no United Nations anymore because it doesn't work for these kind of problems?
Currently, the resolution proposes the latter idea, however, if you do feel that the former idea is a better way to attack this problem, do feel free to amend this resolution through unfriendly or friendly amendments.
Okay, any questions? Are there no more questions? Partha Sawa? You're not
Don't you
really a
think it's
delegate,
a
but
bit
whatever.
dangerous in terms of harm to other nations to relieve all countries of pre-existing duties from treaties and any resolutions in addition to financial commitments? How does that weigh in terms of reparations for actions of the countries committed in the past and historical obligations and ongoing tragedies in other countries? How do you plan on dealing with those travesties?
So what our resolution in term thinks of is that all of these resolutions, all of these treaties were made during a time when the United Nations was staunchly divided and was very partisan. So allowing them to not have to take sides and allowing them to negotiate terms on their own means that without the guidance of the United Nations, nations can renegotiate terms on, they can renegotiate these treaties and these agreements on separate terms. So they wouldn't necessarily be, you wouldn't be letting go of any past commitments. You would just be renegotiating the terms of every single commitment so that the negotiations are more partisan.
Thank you, delegate. Okay. That exhausts our time. I believe our next block, our final block actually, is the United Nations actions on the continually developing human rights situation in Xinjiang with pertinence to Uyghur persecution. It's a very long acronym. Okay. Sponsors, whenever you're ready.
The topic is Uyghur Muslim
Okay, I'm going to
religious.
stop right there. You don't need to tell the topic. Just try to summarize.
Oh, okay. The General Assembly acknowledging the human rights violation made by China, propagating an investigation, assisting in the process of increasing China's transparency, emphasizing the purpose of the United Nations in regards to human rights, recognizing China's officials' concerns about terrorism, and asserting the freedom of press in respect to the reporting in Xinjiang area.
First, we will raise awareness on persecution by making an official state human rights violation statement. Second, we will investigate human rights allegations with documents leaked by the New York Times in 2019 to be reviewed against the International Criminal Court and such circuit organs. Third, we will start a PR campaign to spread awareness.
Is anyone really speaking? Sorry, my bad.
United States, I think it's United States turn.
Alleviates Uyghurs' suffering in the Xinjiang region when trying to escape persecution and help human rights in the region. So we will provide refugee status and carefully monitor individuals fleeing the region to ensure their safety. Request countries to report all Uyghur refugees to the UNHCR, which will track their well-being and ensure their safety. Establish a subcommittee of the UNHCR, the Subcommittee of Uyghur Refugees, SUR, and task it with monitoring the situation in Xinjiang and assessing if China has made the human rights situation better and when to lift sanctions. Vote for the lifting of sanctions or sanctions re-implementations. Launch an investigation into the situation to find if China is violating international law and whether to add more sanctions.
Recommend economic sanctions. Countries backing are encouraged to sanction, and sponsors are recommended to sanction government officials should follow the U.S.'s lead.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done earlier. Okay. Thank you, delegates. We will now be taking 2 minutes worth of questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Are there no questions on this? Okay, seeing as there are no amendments, there are no questions, this exhausts the Q&A period. Okay, so from now, here's the plan. So right now what's gonna happen is I would the chair would smile upon a motion for like a 10-minute unmod where you could draft amendments, and hopefully we want them to be friendly amendments. We don't want any, we want them to be friendly amendments if there are any. And then after that, we'll be voting on the resolutions. Okay. So are there any points or motions on the floor?
Point of inquiry.
Yes, point of inquiry, Canada.
Okay. Can we move directly into voting block there's no amendment?
I'd say okay. Here's what's gonna happen. As a chair, I believe as chair, I will put a motion on the floor. And actually, no. First, let me explain what amendments are basically. So what's gonna happen is, let's say you want to amend a clause. Okay, and like let's say hypothetically you think that one resolution has some wording you'd like to change a little bit. You draft an amendment to that. Now, if all the sponsors of that resolution are fine with it, then it just gets included automatically. If the sponsors aren't fine with it, then it's voted on by the entire committee. So what's going to happen is I'll have you guys raise your hands here, and if you guys have any amendments you'd like to draft, then I'll give you. Then we'll have an unmod for it. If not, I guess we can just move straight into voting block. So I'm just a quick straw poll here. Does anybody have amendments they'd like to see passed? Raise your hands, please. Okay, so I don't think that. 1 second.
So just to clarify, this is you've seen something in another resolution or in your resolution, and you don't think that you will agree with it, but if you change something, then you will agree with it and you will vote for the resolution, right? That is the idea of amendments. So if there's any amendments, maybe in the second one, I don't know, then you can have an unmod, draft the amendment, submit it, ask the sponsors if they agree. If they agree, it's friendly. If not, we vote, and then we vote on the resolutions after that.
Yeah. So again, I'll give you like a minute. Do you guys have any? Raise your hand if you want to draft an amendment. If not, we'll go straight into voting block. And then Canada.
Okay, point of inquiry.
Yes, point of inquiry.
If multiple resolutions pass, yet they contradict each other.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Don't worry. There's going to be certain limitations to make sure that doesn't happen. Any other amendments?
I'm going to try.
You're going to try to write an amendment
to the second one.
How much time? Okay, are you going to completely just like change the resolution? Remember, amendments are usually small changes.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to find the area where I can fix the most unfixed resolution.
Okay, I'm just going to clarify something in the United States. You have amendments aren't opportunity for you to completely change resolutions.
I know, only a single part. I will change
only a single part.
And every movie.
So how about this? Would you like to motion for an unmoderated caucus to draft your thing?
Yeah, I guess it'll take like 4 minutes or 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
5-minute unmod USA. Okay, we're just going to vote on this isolated motion. All those in favor of the United States' motion for a 5-minute unmod, please raise your hands. The chair cannot vote. 3.
The chair highly smiles upon.
Okay, I'm going to lower hands. We got 3 in favor. All those opposed? Okay, this motion clearly fails. So I guess we're going to go straight into voting block. So, are there any motions on the floor that you would smile upon a motion to enter voting block? I'm going to lower hands before we do that. All right. Anyone have any points or motions on the floor? Iran?
Motion to enter voting block.
Would you like to have speakers for and against?
2 minute for and against.
Sorry, it's 2 speakers. So 2 speakers or 2 speakers or 1 speaker?
1 speaker for and 1 speaker against.
And how much time for speech?
90 seconds each.
Okay. Any other points or motions on the floor? Canada.
A motion for a 2-4-2 against 1
Okay.
minute each. 1 minute per speaker.
Okay. Any other points or motions on the floor? Morocco.
Motion to amend Iran's to 60 seconds.
Iran, is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So we'll now be voting on these motions disruptive. All those in favor of Canada's motion to enter voting block with 2 speakers for and against, 1 minute speaking time total, please raise your hands. Okay, that's 4 in favor. All those opposed? Okay, this motion clearly fails. All right. All those in favor of Iran's motion to enter voting block 1 for, 1 against, 60-second speaking time, please raise your hands. Okay, this motion passes with a significant majority. All right. We are now entering voting block. By chair's discretion, we will be going by order received. So, actually first, Iran, would you like to speak for or against the resolution?
For.
Iran would like to speak for. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Iran, you have 60 seconds whenever you're ready.
Thank you. We have seen how there are grave security concerns in Xinjiang and how the region is geographically extremely important geographically to the economic well-being of both China and European countries because it sits in a region where it connects, where all the railroads that connect China and European countries have to pass through the region. Therefore, and we also realize that there is not concrete evidence of human rights violations in Xinjiang, and that the People's Republic of China have caught many terrorists before they could have inflicted their damage onto public properties in Xinjiang. Therefore, we determined that it is best to maintain neutrality toward the status of Uyghur Muslims, to open dialogue between the Chinese government and the international community, and to call upon the international community to help China in de-radicalizing the Uyghurs in Xinjiang instead of condemning it for human rights violations. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any speakers against? Just remember that by speaking against, you're kind of implying that we haven't debated the topic enough. Canada, would you like to speak opposed?
Yes.
1
The
second.
delegation of Canada would like to point out that the delegation of Iran mentioned openness and transparency between China and international countries, yet they refused to cooperate with any investigations regarding the alleged Uyghur crisis, which may dispel all allegations and or they could confirm all allegations. And the refusal to cooperate means that they believe that there might be something that doesn't want to be investigated. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Okay, so looking at the papers, so resolution, working paper 1.1, UN action on the Uyghur crisis in China, that is a staunchly pro-China resolution. The resolution working paper 1.2 is an anti-UN resolution which opposes any form of UN action and calls for disbanding the UN. And 1.3 is anti-China. So basically, it condemns China for its actions. So all three of these resolutions are diametrically opposed to each other. So if one resolution passes, the other two automatically fail because then otherwise you'd have contradictory resolutions being passed. Okay, so just so you guys know. So if only one resolution is going to pass this committee, the other two are going to automatically fail. Yes, Canada?
So is there an order that the resolutions will be
We're
voted
going by
on?
order received. So the pro-China resolution is going to be first, then anti-UN, then anti-China. Okay.
Wait, no, when you motion to present resolutions for voting, you can like specify which order you want to go in.
Mm-hmm. But if no one specifies, you default to order received. Okay. So we will now be voting. Remember, this is voting block, so please keep the Discord chat and the chats here clean. No messaging. We will now be voting on. Wait, I believe we do roll call before voting, don't we? Okay, if not, okay. Right now, just a reminder, we have 20. Let me just do a quick head count on delegates here. Okay, so we have 24 present here, so a majority is 13. Remember, majority is 13. You need 13 to pass. We're going to go 50% to pass, not 2/3. Okay. Luke, Lee, do you have a question?
Yeah, point of inquiry. Did we do 1 for 1 against for
We
every?
did 1 for 1 against. No, it's 1 for 1 against to enter voting block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and please change your name. Okay. We will now be voting on working paper 1.1, UN action on the Uyghur crisis in China. All those in favor of this working paper, please raise your hand. Okay. I count 12 in favor.
I counted 11.
11, I'll default to you.
4,
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I swear
Let's check
something
again,
just
so some
changed.
people's
1,
hands
2,
matter.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ian,
12.
you were slow.
Okay. Just a reminder,
12.
if you abstain, that is considered a soft no, so you will be factored into the total. I'm going to lower all hands. All those opposed?
And if you said president voting, you have to vote yes or no.
Count 10.
I count 10 as well, which means you should have 2 abstentions. So all those abstaining, we should have 2 abstentions. There they are. Okay. Frank, could you check on make sure these people, they're all marked as most present?
Yeah, they're both present.
Okay. By a vote of 12 to 10 to 2, this resolution fails.
Wait. Oh, right, so it's majority. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. We're now moving on to our next resolution, the Un-United Nations resolution, working paper 1.2. All those in favor, please raise your hands. I'm counting 8 in favor.
Yep, say 8.
Okay. I'm going to lower all hands. All those opposed?
And just another clarification, I don't think any of the the operative clauses in this resolution are feasible or within the UNHCR charter.
Yeah. Okay, I count 12
I
opposed.
count 12 against.
So we should have 5 abstentions.
Yeah.
All those, no, sorry, four abstentions, excuse me. All those abstaining?
Oh, yes, okay.
Three. And Frank, just make sure these people
Yeah.
are marked as present. Okay.
We're
missing 1 vote.
Hold on, this last person, Himani.
That's 3. We have 3
Which
people who voted.
country is that?
She is Thailand.
Thailand, I was going to say. Okay. 1 person didn't vote.
1 person didn't vote, but considering the margin by which the rest of you have voted, that vote wouldn't make a difference. So by a vote of 8 to 12 to 3, this working paper also fails. Our final resolution is, let me read it out for you. The United Nations action on the continually developing human rights situation in Xinjiang with pertinence to the Uyghur persecution. Okay, this is working paper 1.3. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Final working paper.
You're
Counting
kidding.
11, 12.
Wait, 11? 1, 2, 3,
12.
4, 5,
13.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I count 12.
Recount.
1,
Okay,
2,
keep your
3,
hands up.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I now count 11. 1.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I'm getting 11 again. Okay. All right. All those opposed? This is a very partisan body. Okay.
1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
I'm counting 12. We should have 2 opposed. Sorry, 1 abstention.
Yeah.
Abstaining?
Who is it?
Georgia. Okay.
Georgia.
By a vote of 11 to 12 to 1, this final working paper also fails. Okay, so this committee was technically a failure. Nothing.
Nicely done, guys.
Nicely done. Okay. Now we have some Frank, would you like to not him.
Yeah, I'll take over.
You'll take over? Great. I'll stop.
Oh, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead. Take over.
Okay. So you made me sit through like
We
6 hours or something. You didn't even pass a
Frank,
resolution.
Can we motion out a voting block, please?
Okay. Thank you, Ian. Before I ramble on.
Are there any points or motion on the table?
Bro!
No, it's like, hey, look
I was
at
getting
yours.
there.
Let the chairs do it. We're getting there.
Motion to table.
Chair
Hang on.
smiles on a motion to exit voting block. Canada.
Motion to end voting block.
Okay. And that is in order. I'm not even going to share it. Like that is the motion.
Chair's discretion. That
Vote.
passes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. And then we need to suspend debate. So can we get another motion? Georgia.
Motion to enter Funman? Or
Well, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But Ian's online, so I have to do it step by step.
Come on, Ian.
My computer rebooted. So wait.
Okay, come on. We just need 1 more motion. Come on, let's just get this over with.
Iran.
Motion to suspend debate.
I like it. We're gonna do that.
Wait, which
Yeah.
resolution passed? My computer rebooted.
Okay, chair's discretion. This passes. We have officially exited committee. Cheers, also hand.
Yay! Good job, guys.
Okay.
Oh.
I
You guys
believe
wasted like a
there's
solid 7-8 hours of my day. Thank you.
Okay, so quick announcements. Oh, go ahead.
Which resolutions passed?
None of them passed.
None of them passed.
They all failed?
failed. They all failed.
I rebooted my computer. I thought I missed the best voting, but nothing happened.
Yo, they were all like one vote away.
No, no. Yeah,
Wait a second, but I was going to vote for mine.
No, your resolution would have failed either way. It
Oh.
would have been 12-12-1. You would have failed by 1 vote. The first resolution was 1 vote away. The second was 2 votes, and the third was like a distant 3 or 4 votes. Okay. Let's go into Fun One.
Before we go into Fun One, I have some quick announcements in regards to the ending logistics of this mock. So again, I want to thank you guys all for coming. Me and Parth were excited to host all of you guys for this mock conference. In terms of who the kind of the winners per se are going to be, those will be announced in an email in the next couple of days. We'll send out certificates and who like won the committee after in like a couple of days once the chairs have sat down and decided. Another thing, we will also be sending out a feedback form for this mock in that email. So make sure you fill out the feedback form just so that we can get some feedback. In the event that we do host more virtual conferences, because it is looking like first and maybe second semester will be entirely virtual, we kind of need more feedback from you guys so we can make these mock conferences better and like more interesting. And yeah, Parth, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I think that covers pretty much most of it.